it really made sense for us to capitalize on the fact that the film is ready and we don't want to keep holding on endlessly to the film. Because there was no clarity that when this pandemic would end at the initial point. In those initial months, there was nobody knew 1 month, 2 months, and the 2 months became 3 months, 3 months became 4 months. Everyone is hugely excited about the film, and the film is extremely special to us for multiple reasons. Of course, like you rightly said, it's a very expensive film, but also the vision of the creator, Anand Mukherjee, and the amount of effort and energy that's gone into making this film. It has been really incredible. The whole journey itself in terms of understanding how to make these high budget VFX films. You have the ability of seeing something in your own language and you can enjoy it. I mean, we're doing one ourselves. Selfiee is a remake of a very successful Malayalam film produced by our co-producer Prithvi Raj. It's Karan at its best, really. Scale, fun, comedy, and a really emotional family drama laced with all these ingredients. So I think it's hugely enjoyable. I don't think we've seen Karan make something like this before.
So firstly, Apoorva, welcome to Pinkvilla. It's lovely having you here.
Thank you.
My first question to you is, being the CEO of one of the biggest banners in India, undoubtedly one of the biggest banners in India, how has your game plan changed in the last 2 years because of the pandemic?
So I think the pandemic was there was a lot of evolution that happened in the pandemic. We've seen a huge surge in digital content consumption across the world, and especially in India, where you've seen a huge expansion in people consuming digital content because of the convenience of watching it when they want, where they want, and how they want it. And of course, we had also the difficulty of releasing films in the theaters because of the various guidelines issued by the government in view of public safety, of course, that you can't be going to venues and areas where you're likely to pick up the infection. So obviously what's happened in the last 2 years is that you had a slew of films that were delayed either in production or in release. You also had people getting very used to watching content at home, enjoying that experience. And you had people also tasting international content, which may not have happened with that speed that it did had there not been a pandemic. We are all now enjoying watching Turkish shows, Korean love dramas, German dark shows. So there is also a huge evolution that's taken place in terms of people's likes and dislikes for content.
Correct.
Thanks to being exposed to so many different kinds of content across the globe, and also the fact that you're enjoying watching content at home. So this is going to directly affect the kind of content that we now make for the theaters and the kind of content that we'll now continue to keep making for the OTT platforms.
True. So actually that was my next question in terms of creating content for theaters and OTT. If there are two films which universally across the media trade that people felt that they would have done well in the theaters were Gunjan Saxena and Sher Shah. And they premiered on OTT and they are considered to be two of the best.
Correct. Thank you so much.
Could you tell us about the idea of taking them to OTT, and retrospectively, do you think that with all the chatters that they would have been the films which would have done huge business in theater as well despite all the restrictions?
We actually, both those films were ready at the onset of the pandemic. We were I think Gunjan Saxena was scheduled to release sometime in March, and the Sher Shah was meant to release in July or something of that sort, was the original plan. We couldn't hold on to Gunjan Saxena because obviously it's a smaller film with Janhvi's was just one film old. It's a smaller film in that sense. There are many stakeholders, and that is true for both the films. There are many stakeholders, there are many costs attached. We are a privately held company. And it really made sense for us to capitalize on the fact that the film is ready and we don't want to keep holding on endlessly to the film. Because there was no clarity that when this pandemic would end at the initial point. In those initial months, there was nobody knew 1 month, 2 months, and the 2 months became 3 months, 3 months became 4 months. And in retrospect, I think we're very, very glad that we took that decision for Gunjan Saxena, because the theaters only opened up 6 to 7 months later, and again, we were dealing with 50% capacity in some places and even more restrictions on night shows, day shows, so it's not an environment that is conducive to enjoy the maximum potential from a film's release. So, we are very, very fortunate that we took that decision and it paid us very rich dividends, because the film like Gunjan Saxena managed to release on 200 countries worldwide on Netflix. And that's not something that we would have achieved with the theatrical release. Additionally, we were also lucky that the time, if the film is of course great and everyone's loved the film, and we were in a time where we were in a period where people had the time to sit at home and watch the film and consume it, and which they may not necessarily have done instantly had it been a regular theatrical release, because we must remember that of course while Janhvi Kapoor was the lead of the film, I mean she's also only one film old. So the director is launching himself with his first film. Sharan Sharma, this was his first film. So in a sense, the entire team that was working on the film is very new. So they're not going to, anytime the theaters would release, you're going to first run to see the big budget, big ticket films. And and a film like this would also not probably get a solo release date. So, and in that sense, I think we were very, very happy that we managed to release on 200 countries on day and date. Everyone saw the film, they loved it. The amount of love that there is for the film is incredible. So I think in that sense, we feel vindicated with the decision, and of course financially also the decision paid us off very well. For us on every front, the decision worked. In terms of visibility, in terms of love for the product, and in terms of financial returns.
And same for Shersha as well.
Same for Shersha. And for Shersha was another very important driving factor also, that we were very clear that it's such a strong war drama. It needs to release at a period and time, like August 15th, where we can associate the PR for the film along with that important moment in India's history, So for us, we already missed out August 2020 because of what had happened. Now we were in August 2021. Because like I said, the film was scheduled for June, and August 2020 we were in no condition to release the film. So the next time that we could release it would be August 2021, and that period also was looking difficult because we once again had a series of increase in cases, and there was again fear that was there with the public. So we felt that we don't want to lose this period, because the period resonates so strongly with our content, in terms of Independence Day, in terms of martyrs giving up their lives, and no other bigger martyr being there than Vikram Batra. So it kind of made sense for us to stick to that advantage of using that date for the PR and promotion of the film, and all the other factors that I mentioned earlier also, of course, were at play. And like I said, we're again very, very we're overwhelmed with the success that the film has met on the OTT platform. It's been, I don't know whether you're aware, but it's been reviewed as the most popular original Hindi film on the OTT platform, with an 8.9 rating on IMDb, which is really unheard of, and a release in 240 countries worldwide, which again may not have happened had it gone theatrical. So in every respect, we are pleased and very happy with the decision.
And as a producer, how easy or difficult is it for you to decide on the mode of releasing a film? Because we keep hearing things that XYZ film has been offered a huge amount from OTT platform for a premiere, and then it's up to you. Like someone was telling me that Jug Jugg Jeeyo got a big amount, but you rejected it because you want to bring it in the theaters. So how is that decision like what are the factors, and how difficult is it to decide?
We are very, very clear, when we have two companies, Dharma and Dharmatic, and for us, for Dharma Productions, theatrical films are the cornerstone of our business. Films are a passion, and and making films for the theater is something what Dharma has always done and will continue to do so. Dharmatic, on the other hand, is a company for us which focuses on making content directly for the digital platform. So we already curate content when it comes to us. Okay, this film looks great for this platform. This is a theatrical film. We always do that curation right from the onset.
Okay.
But then you have certain circumstances like the pandemic where you change those decisions. In the interest of protecting the stakeholders, in the interest of protecting the people involved with the film, and ensuring the financial viability of that project. But typically from before, we have a sense that okay, these are the films that this is not a kind of film that I want to put on the theaters because I don't feel this is right for this, or a film like Brahmastra, or a film like Jug Jugg Jeeyo. Like we knew day one that we will only go theatrical for this film, because these are those larger than life films in terms of content, in terms of scale, in terms of their look and feel, and their experiences that you enjoy only the theaters. So I think in that point we are very clear about what content goes where. But of course, like I said, the decision does change film to film, because we are also in a very, very unique environment which never existed before.
True. And are the actors also in the loop about from the word go as to if this film is for OTT, this film is for theatrical, or?
Of course,
how have those things changed? I mean,
so no, we are very clear that tomorrow if you're making a film like Meenakshi Sandeshwar was a film which was meant for OTT, Guilty was a film that was meant for OTT, and that was always communicated to the actors, and the actors were very well aware. You must realize, that now, with the pandemic, what it has done, it has made the movement between OTT and theatrical very fluid, not only for creators but also for actors. Today you have every A-list actor doing a show today we have Ajay Devgan doing Varun Dhawan, Ajay Devgan, Akshay Kumar. So all of these people are doing a show for the digital platform. So there is a lot of acceptance and recognition of the strength of the OTT platform.
True.
And so I think actors are very, very fluid, and we are very clear from day one. Okay, this is a strategy on this film. This is a strategy on this film.
And Dharma has a wide slate of release this year, and I believe it starts in terms of theaters. Of course, there's Gheraya, which is releasing in OTT on Valentine's Day. But in terms of theaters, I think the journey begins with the Vicky Kaushal film Govinda Naam Mera in June, followed by Jug Jugg Jeeyo. Could you tell us something about the world of those two films? And I believe Jug Jugg Jeeyo is Raj Mehta after Good News, which makes it one of the most anticipated films.
Correct. So both those films are very, very diverse, but hugely entertaining. Jug Jugg Jeeyo is a different space. It's a comedy it's in the zone of a comedy come thriller, and Jug Jugg Jeeyo is a pure family drama. So they're both very, very diverse but hugely engaging, and we're very, very excited about both these films, and in fact all the films of this year, because we have a very diverse slate of films. You have these two, you have Gheraya, which is a very strong emotional drama. Then you have a Liger, which is our first co-production with Puri Jagannath, being made in 5 languages, which is really an out-and-out entertainer. And then we have Brahmastra, the big high-end spectacle. So it's really a mix and match of many, many, many kinds of films across various genres.
And talking of Brahmastra, it is easily the biggest film of Bollywood when we talk about the financial stake involved, time taken to shoot in all aspects, basically.
Yes.
So, what are the conversations like around Brahmastra in the office when there's this pandemic going on, and for a fact that it is such a costly film? So what are the conversations like around that, and how excited are you to see that vision of Ayan translate to the spectacle?
Everyone is hugely excited about the film, and the film is extremely special to us for multiple reasons. Of course, like you rightly said, it's a very expensive film, but also the vision of the creator Ayan Mukherjee and the amount of effort and energy that's gone into making this film. It has been really incredible. The whole journey itself in terms of understanding how to make these high budget VFX films. How do you mount them? How do you make them? How do you plan for the VFX? How do you execute the VFX? So it's been a very, very long journey, a very, very difficult journey, but an extremely rewarding journey when you see the cut of the film. So I think the conversations are all of anticipation and excitement, really. There is a lot of excitement, there's a lot of anticipation, there is a lot of curiosity, and I think everyone's looking forward to seeing the film, including ourselves. Now, I think we're ready now for it to come out and for the world to enjoy it.
True, of course. And you recently announced Selfiee with Akshay Kumar and Imran Hashmi, and
yes,
again, it's Raj Mehta as the director. But ever since the announcement, there have been so many conversations around the film. Some reports state that it is OTT, some reports state that it is theatrical. What's the plan like for?
So people are having conversations all the time. We are not listening to those conversations. We are just making the film right now, and then we'll take a call at that point in time. It is a very, very strong subject matter, and we couldn't have got a better casting than Akshay sir and Imran Hashmi in terms of the leads of the film. And Raj is very excited to start that film. We're starting filming for it in end of Feb now. And I think at this point in time, we are not even, it's the theatrical release. We're not looking at it any other way, really.
Of course, yeah. And with such a big star cast, of course, people would want to experience it in theaters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as a content creator, what's your thought on the concept of remakes? Because these days on social media, we keep seeing that ye remake kyun ban raha hai, ye kya ban raha hai, and those chatter keep going on. What's your take on that discussion?
No, I think we're in a very unique time. Like I said, there's so much content being made. It's tough sometimes to come across very interesting stories because there's so many things that are happening across with so many people. So I think remakes are fine. You have the ability of seeing something in your own language and you can enjoy it. We are doing one ourselves. Selfiee is a remake of a very successful Malayalam film produced by a co-producer Prithvi Raj. So I mean, it's fine. I mean, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of new content being made. There's so much remake being done also. So eventually the content that you make has to be exciting, whether it's a remake or it's an original. What matters, you may have a situation, the remake is extraordinarily brilliant and the original that has been made by someone is not enjoyable at all. So it's really about how compelling, how engaging the content that you make is. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a remake or not.
Correct. And last couple of questions. Karan returns to direction front after a long time with Rocky Aur Rani Ki Prem Kahani. It's releasing next year. But could you tell us something about that world? It's like, it gives the vibe of a Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham and kuch hota hai in terms of the glamour, grandeur.
Yeah. So you're right. In terms of grandeur, scale, and everything, you've not seen anything like this. It's a fun, energetic rom-com in that sense. It's Karan at its best, really. Scale, fun, comedy, and a really emotional family drama laced with all these ingredients. So I think it's hugely enjoyable. I don't think we've seen Karan make something like this before. I mean, he has made something like this before in terms of being large family dramas, but I mean, it's been a while since he's made it. So I think everyone's going to be really surprised, because I think there's such incredible chemistry between the lead pair, Ranveer Singh and Alia, and there's such incredible performances from all the other actors also. You have veterans like Jaya Bachchan, Shaban Azmi and Dharmendra also in the same frame, So I mean, when you go for the shoot, it feels like fun. So I mean, like, wow, this is like a day out, literally, because all of them are such great actors and such lovely people. So I think the film itself is going to be extremely enjoyable, and it promises everything a Karan Johar film promises you.
Correct. That's entertainment, basically.
Yeah.
And you have many more films which we didn't speak about, but if you could give an update about something like that. There's Yoddha in the making, which is your next with Siddharth after something as successful as Sher Shah. Then there is, I think, Mr. or Mrs Mahi, Mr. and Mrs Mahi, with Janvi and Rajkumar Rao. What's the pipeline like for Dharma? Like, these are the two films which were on the top of my mind.
Yeah, so I think, like I said, as of now, we have like 7 to 8 films next year. We start the year with Gehraiyan, of course, which releases now on the 11th of February. Headlined by Deepika Padukone, Siddhant Chaturvedi, Ananya Pandey and Dhairya. Made by Shakun Batra, who comes after Kapoor and Sons. Then we have Govinda Naam Mera, like you spoke about, with Vicky Kaushal, Bhumi Pednekar, and of course Kiara Advani. And then we also have Jug Jugg Jeeyo with Anil Kapoor sir, Varun Dhawan, Neetu Singh, and Kiara Advani. Then you have Liger. We are launching Vijay Devkonda's Hindi debut, and the film is going to be simultaneously made in 4 other languages. You have Brahmastra, of course, which everyone knows about. What else is there you mentioned? Mr. and Mrs Mahi by Sharan Sharma, who's returning after Gunjan Saxena.
Yeah.
So it's got Rajkumar Rao and Janvi, and it's a really beautiful story, which we're very excited about. So yeah, there's a bunch of films, and hopefully if there's no 3.0 of COVID, then everything will go as per plan. If there's a 3.0 of COVID, then things will move a bit. But I think that no one can tell right now. As of now, we are all just working with our fingers crossed and hoping that everything rolls out as per plan.
Perfect. Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you.
Wonderful talking to you. So thank you so much.
Looking forward to all the films and series and everything else.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.